Now, talking a little bit about renting out your real estate, a lot of investors buy properties, fix up, and turn around and sell these houses. And I think that's an important part in the process is buying and selling houses, but a lot of investors are going to be renting out their properties. And we do have a rental team in place that's there to help you along the way when you are going to be renting out a house. Now, the process is a little bit different, and I'm going to take it one step back into the rehab section. Once you're rehabbing that property, the big thing that you have to remember is that when you are remodeling the home, there's a rehab to resell, and then there's a rehab to rent out. And so we want to make sure that we are prepping our rehab team early on in the process of what direction are we going to head with this house. Are we renting it? Are we selling it? And that's going to determine what level we're going to take that property to. So once we get the property rehabbed, and we've done it as a rental rehab, you can turn the property over to our leasing team. Again, we have an online form to get the property listed. Everything is done the same way, just like listing a home for sale. We have that electronic management system in place to help you get your property listed. You don't have to sign everything. Everything can be done again on your mobile device, same way. But what we do is when we're renting out one of these homes is we are marketing the property very similar to the regular homes that we would be listing for sale. The process is almost identical. The only difference that we have there is we're advertising on different websites because we are marketing towards renters, not towards home buyers. So that's an important difference between the resale and the rental of properties. So once that property hits the market, we are then looking for tenants. Tenants are contacting us. Our leasing team is out there showing properties. And you can find a lot more information about our rental team at chaserental.com. You can find out, kind of what our process is, where tenants can search for properties and those types of things. But the process for you and I as an investor is once we get that property listed, we find a tenant for that property. We're going to do a background check, a criminal check. We're going to have them fill out an application. We're going to verify the data on the application to make sure that it's accurate. The one thing that we found over the years is that tenants will fill out applications and they'll put a lot of great information on there that they're living at 555 Apple Street in Joliet, Illinois, and their landlord is Stan Smith. And then we'll dive deep into that application and we'll verify that 555 Apple Street is owned by Stan Smith. And if there's a discrepancy there, then that takes us to dig a little bit deeper and find out why is Stan Smith not the owner of the property that they said was the owner. And then we come to find out that Stan Smith could have been their cousin or their friend or co-worker or whoever. So it is having a good, competent rental team that knows how to dig deep, and they've worked with us for years, and they are very, very good. Evictions are extremely rare with the tenants that we place inside properties, and we use a lot of government programs. There's Section 8, there's RHSP, there's standard tenants, and then you have your relocation or insurance tenants that we work with as well, which sometimes are a shorter term than a one-year lease. But we have access to a huge tenant database that we're constantly marketing to. So we always have tenants for these properties. Our average turn time is about 27 days to get a property rented. That's not to say every property is going to rent in 27 days. Some rent in 2 and some take 90 days to get rented. But we do have a good tenant database. And what we're really looking for is we don't want to just plop somebody inside your house. Because if we just plop somebody in there, that means we're likely going to be evicting that tenant or having a short-term tenant. We want to find long-term tenants that stay for years and years and years. And in some of my properties, my leasing team has rented out my own investment homes that I've owned for 10 years, and I have the same tenant living inside that property. And I will attest that to having a good leasing team that knows how to find good tenants. Now the leasing team is a little bit different. They do charge 1 month's rent to source a tenant for the property. It's not a reoccurring fee. It's a one-time, we place the tenant. We want to see the tenant stay there long term. But if the tenant moves out 3 or 4 years later and you need to find a new tenant for the property, you would contact the leasing team again, we'd get the property listed, and they would charge 1 month's rent to get that property rented. So the process is really fairly simple to work with, and I think you're going to find that working with our leasing team, you're working with some real pros, not a real estate agent that's just doing this to try to make some extra money. These are real licensed leasing agents that have been doing this for years and years, and that is their main focus, is leasing out property. So we do have a property management component. We're not affiliated with the property management company, but if you wanted to go and get your property managed professionally, we have on chaserental.com all the information that you need to work directly with our property managers that we have. And the property managers charge between 8 and 10% per month to manage the property. If you have less than 10 homes to manage, I honestly think that you could manage those properties yourself. I don't think it's something that you need to hire out for. I think that's something that you could easily manage. Above 10 properties, it now can become a management headache, and if you're not managing your properties properly, you will see higher turnover in tenant, lower rates, and the condition of your property deteriorate faster because the property is not being managed properly. But again, that all can be found at our website, chaserental.com.